Hey, how do you feel about the event?
I feel so freaking great about the event. There's not a single place in the world that I'd rather be than right here at Freedom 250, baby. Let's go. Jama, Jama, Jama!
And we had conversations last year about black fatigue. And none of that had happened at the White House. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make society worse. You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
All right. Y'all know why we're here.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama was verbally attacked at Donald Trump's 80th birthday spectacle in the South Lawn of the White House in a way so disgraceful that I refuse to repeat it here. That attack has a history. Misgendering black women, stripping them of their womanhood are tactics that white people use to justify the rape of enslaved black women, the stealing of their children, and forcing them to labor in the fields for the pleasure of white families. It's not a joke. It's not trash talk. It's a weapon with a long and ugly history. The fighter's name was Josh Hokit, and every elected official or public figure who was there needs to condemn his remarks. Joe Rogan heard it, said nothing. Dana White said nothing. Donald Trump and his vice president, J.D. Vance, a proud Catholic man, said nothing. His cabinet members, Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth, were there and said nothing. House Speaker Mike Johnson, a white evangelical Christian, was there and said nothing. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg was there. Trump's family was there, and they all said nothing. And then there's Melania Trump. All throughout antebellum American history, the plantation mistresses were just as guilty as their racist husbands. Melania Trump is the plantation mistress of the modern era. She sat right next to her husband while a former first lady was attacked on the grounds of the People's House and said nothing. Michelle Obama served this country with grace and dignity for 8 years, and they can't stand it. 10 years ago, this summer, she stood at a podium and told the world that she woke up every morning in a house that was built by slaves. Maga called it divisive. Fact checkers called it accurate. Now, on those same grounds, they're trying to put her back in her place. Anyone who is a part of this spectacle who won't condemn this attack on America's most admired woman is not just complicit, they're guilty. And we're coming for them too.
Now, I echo a lot of what Keith Boykin said, right down to remembering exactly who it was that said nothing. And in fact, I actually was going to sit this one out because I know just how much our attention and our anger and outrage fuels those who have nothing better to do.
See, we don't have to listen. In fact, we enjoy it when you're upset. That guy is a troll. He showed up at the weigh-in pretending he was drunk and was throwing up applesauce as a fake pretense because he was pretending he was scared. That's called a troll. We get it. Not our fault if you don't.
That's why this video is about a day late, because I had no interest of giving them what they wanted. However, I thought there were a few reasons why I had to say something, not the least of which was the way that Keith ended that video about their desire to put Michelle Obama back in her place. Does it look like she's back in her place? Literally at the same time this was happening, we get Barack and I were so honored to have Akunyi Crosby create a portrait for the Obama Presidential Center. Her artistic brilliance shines through, and the way she infused such life and joy into the piece is truly extraordinary. We love it, and we think everyone who visits the center will too.
Oh, I feel the energy shift.
Hi.
How are you?
So nice to see you. Before we get any commentary in, we just got to soak it in.
It's us. And
It is so
all
pretty.
of the stories
Look at
within the
your,
story.
Your house was behind there.
Euclid. Oh my God, you got everything in there.
Maga, does it look like she's back in her place? I don't know. But that infuriates you, doesn't it? That just infuriates you that she just refuses to get back in her place. Well, let me tell you this. This might be the most aptly named episode of Who Raised Y'all I have ever done. Because see, where I come from, people would have told you that when someone's existence, their excellence bothers you to such a degree where you are literally always thinking of them. They are always on your mind. The most embarrassing and shameful thing you could possibly do is continue to admit it to everybody else. You know? Y'all don't have any friends or anybody around y'all that could have educated y'all and hip y'all to the fact that nobody looks worse than the person that can't get over it. Like the dude who's still talking about his ex-girlfriend's new man. And you want to know how badly this went. During Trump's 80th birthday party, and yes, that's what this was, Michelle Obama was trending. Michelle Obama was trending. Not Trump, not President Trump, not Happy Birthday Trump, Michelle Obama. That's right. Y'all did it to yourselves. That's right. You absolutely did it to yourselves. And I know that you might want to pass this on along to this is something that one fighter said. We don't condone this and this, that, and the other thing. But this is the exact kind of behavior that you guys just love to empower, or else he wouldn't have said it now, would he? No, he wouldn't have. And here's the weird thing for me, Trump, because if I was you, okay, I would definitely divorce myself from any conversations about wives. Any conversations about wives, I would shut it down if I was you. You know, if I was you, because every day that passes and people aren't reflecting upon the fact that you would never have to deal with such accusations of your wife being a man, because every American over the age of 18 can verify it for themselves. If that were me, I would have shut all of this down, but you didn't do that. And now we talking about it. And now we talking about it. He did that to you. He did that to you. That's why I say, who raised y'all? Y'all should have known better. You should have known better. You done got away with the fact that Russia put your wife on the Summer Jam screen as a way of shame congratulating you when you won the election in 2024. We haven't talked about that in months, but we just brought it up again. You know, we just brought it up again. We sure enough did. Yeah. It's like an echo, kind of like Melania was with Michelle Obama's speech. We didn't have a reason to bring that up. Now we talking about it again. That's on you. That's on you, Trump. I know that you didn't say it, but it's the culture that you have created, where this singular obsession with the Obamas' excellence, and dare I say black excellence, because black excellence of all stripes is something that gets your panties in a bunch now, doesn't it? That is a shame. Nothing is more embarrassing than knowing that somebody else's existence bothers you to such a degree. And here's the most embarrassing thing about it, is that nothing you say or do could take her degrees away. Not a single thing. Nothing you say or do can take her degrees away. Nothing you say or do can take her grace away. Nothing you say or do can take her oratory skills away. Nothing you say or do can take her Grammy or any of the other awards that she has won away. All it does is make us focus on your own inadequacy.
Michelle Obama is a—
Shut up. Just shut up. You think you are funny? Well, fortunately for you, I actually am funny. Because this you, yeah, that tracks. Bye.
Worth noting, the class act who slandered Michelle Obama at Trump's White House desecration event with no pushback from Joe Rogan was literally puking on himself at the weigh-in. And if anything is more apt when it comes to the Maga movement at this point in 2026, it is puking on yourselves.
Brother,
See, we don't have to listen. In fact, we enjoy it when you're upset. That guy is a troll. He showed up at the weigh-in pretending he was drunk. It was throwing up applesauce as a fake pretense because he was pretending he was scared. That's called a troll. We get it. Not our fault if you don't.
The irony is almost unbelievable. For years, some conservatives warned that Obama would turn the White House into a celebrity playground, politicize every institution, and treat it like his personal brand. He didn't. Now there's a UFC event on the White House grounds, corporate sponsorships everywhere, and a cage fight being used as a presidential spectacle. Trump did to the White House what his critics feared. The joke wrote itself. If this were black people, there would be tweets all over this site about how violent black people are and how they can't be in society, followed by an Elon Musk, yup, retweet. And see, this is exactly why I make a point to weigh in anytime this narrative pushing for black respectability politics gets off the ground. Because this is the kind of thing that gets excused in the people's house, endorsed by the president, paid for by the people. But this is okay, because it's y'all.
This boiled my blood. I'm livid with what's happening in the United States of America right now. I just got back from a 5-day camping trip with my family. Didn't have reception up there, so I unplugged. No news, no distraction, no nothing, and it felt great. I get home this evening, turn on my phone, and this boiled my blood.
Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
The utter disrespect to our former First Lady of the United States. I'm angry. I'm disgusted. And for Joe Rogan to just stand there and laugh with him and the whole crowd cheering him on. Like, what the f is wrong with you people? Melania wishes. The White House and this administration is a joke. That never should have been allowed. And the comments on this video were just as deplorable. It just made me sick to my stomach. The utter disrespect for Michelle Obama. It's truly just embarrassing what is happening. Can someone please tell me if that was real? Because obviously I didn't watch it.
Oh no, I hear you, sister, on the outrage. You are 100% correct on the outrage, but yeah, you can keep the disrespect. Ain't nobody disrespected here outside of red hats. Chicago is good to be home. Michelle and I built the Obama Presidential Center to be a place where people of all ages can learn, play, and work. And we can't wait to welcome you all later this week. Did somebody say disrespect?
Despite calls for bad weather and thunderstorms, there is literally thousands of people here on the Ellipse, all to watch a historic White House event happening on the South Lawn. Many people we spoke to came here from all over the country just to be here. They're UFC super fans. Many others are also fans of President Donald Trump. We spoke to one person who said he doesn't support the president, but he didn't want to be on camera just because he felt as though by being here, he would be associated with the president's movement.
That is so weird. I wonder what it was that he didn't want to be associated with. That is pretty wild that you got to this point as a diehard UFC fan, completely divorced from MAGA. You have seen Trump paraded into all of the events. You've seen all the slurping in the octagon after the fights. You have seen the ways in which literally anything that might be considered progressive or, dare I say, inspired, anything that is reflective in a book anywhere at any time has been thrust far out of the UFC's culture. You survived all that and brought your behind down here, not wanting to be associated with MAGA. It's a no from me, dog.
Hey, how do you feel about the event? I feel so freaking great about the event. There's not a single place in the world that I'd rather be than right here at Freedom 250, baby. Let's go. Jama! Jama! Jama!
And we had conversations last year about black fatigue. And none of that had happened at the White House.
Weeks, the White House has been under construction all for this. A UFC octagon at the People's House.
You know, the White House is for everybody. You can have your opinions about it, but it's for everybody. It represents America, it represents the United States.
You know, honestly, I wouldn't have cared if Biden did it or Trump did it. I'd have just come because I enjoy the UFC.
I think it's a little too much like a little propaganda-ish. Yeah, it's been like a big Trump commercial, but I don't like it. But so you can be a UFC fan without being a Trump fan, so I don't know, both things can be true.
Ask Dana White. Ask Dana White if that's true. Huh? Yeah. He was there at the victory party. He was already there. So yeah, good luck with that. About that whole point that he made about the house is for everybody and everybody's welcome here. That's going to be a little bit tough to sell after this. You know, this didn't help that at all. This didn't have the whole non-political. It was non-political. Huh? Yeah, he threw that right in the trash too. This is bad. He embarrassed everybody.
This is to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. Some have asked, what does the UFC have to do with America's independence? This also falls on Donald Trump's birthday.
Do you think it's the event's for Trump's birthday or for America's birthday?
I think it's for Trump's birthday. I think he changed the dates for a reason. He did it for himself.
Now, here we are with MAGA, at least those that are left, openly ceding just how inadequate they feel, knowing that somewhere the Obamas are thriving, giving us a reason to create a foil with Donald Trump and reminding us of exactly who it is that is occupying the White House currently. That isn't good. I couldn't think of how this had possibly could have been a worse move for you if not for the fact that he was asleep. Yes, at his birthday party. Donald Trump fell asleep at his own UFC spectacle. His White House UFC event was an enormous logistical headache and likely cost taxpayers millions. It's worse than you think. Secret Service deployment, presidential motorcade operations, air support and aviation assets, military and federal security personnel, temporary infrastructure and staging, barricades, fencing, and checkpoints, additional law enforcement staffing, traffic control and road closures, emergency medical and response teams, communications and security equipment, event setup and cleanup, weather contingency operations, coordinations across multiple federal agencies, disruption disruptions to White House operations, security sweeps, and venue preparation. Also, Donald Trump could throw himself a massive UFC-themed birthday spectacle and fall asleep.
You serious?
Maga, you want to talk about it? You want to talk about it? You want to talk about it? How about UFC? How about we have a conversation, because you have an entertainment product. You have an entertainment product. Y'all chose to get in bed with Trump. Now you have him falling asleep at your event. At your event. That was his own birthday party. Cage side. And you have an entertainment product. You know what I mean? It's going great.
Stop lying! Oh my God. Embarrassing. Meet Josh Hokit or who gives a f. In any other sport, dude would have been suspended, fined, possibly fired. Not in the UFC though. No, this man's a champion. And the worst part about this whole let them eat cake star-spangled spectacle cost millions of dollars to set up and market, while millions of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck and starving to death. Trump slept through the whole thing.
And by the way, he mentioned the cost to the taxpayers, but that doesn't even scratch the surface of the grift that we saw this weekend.
Are you ready for Trump's 80th big boy birthday bash?
That's my birthday. They didn't know it.
You're probably scaling back your own birthday plans this year, since the cost of cake is up 5%, dining out is up 3.6%, and Trump's Iran war has even started a global helium shortage. But Trump's using your tax dollars to make his birthday dreams come true. It's all another grift.
Everything's like money, money, money.
The White House UFC event will cost more than $60 million. The UFC claims it's paying for everything, and maybe they will, but I remember being told Mexico would pay for the wall and donors would pay for the ballroom. No matter how much the UFC is covering, there are likely to be major expenses covered by taxpayers, like Secret Service and repair for damages. And even if the event cost us nothing, it's still not okay, because that is not Trump's house. It is the people's house. Trump is handing the White House over to his buddies Dana White, who runs the UFC, and the billionaire Ellison family, which owns Paramount Skydance, who will be streaming the event. They're exploiting the people's house for their own profit and self-promotion. VIP seats are reportedly going for as much as $1.5 million. That's going into their pockets, not ours. Also, Trump's financial disclosures show that he added as much as $50,000 worth of stock in UFC's parent company and as much as $50,000 worth of Paramount Skydance stock to his personal portfolio ahead of this event. So Trump is buying stock in companies and then using the White House to promote those companies and make his own stock more valuable. Oh, and now he's saying he might want to leave the arena up on the White House lawn forever. We seriously need to make the next president put down a security deposit.
Man, that must have been why he was asleep. Because he been tired of grifting. You know what I mean? He was grifting all weekend, and you know what I mean? You need a good nap after a good grift. You got to have a good nap after a good grift. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. And granted, the cost wasn't just confined to dollar amounts and what it costs the taxpayers, because of course we have to contend with the degradation that was visible to our armed forces and our American institutions. You know, things that MAGA loves to pride themselves on protecting, especially when it comes to the military, out here saluting and ushering in UFC fighters. MAGA, y'all let that happen. Can you imagine what would have happened if Obama threw a Big Three tournament down there? Well, guess what? Yep. President is a mug, isn't it? President is a mother. Y'all did that for an event he fell asleep at. Y'all did that. And by the way, while we're on the topic of the military, there is the issue of family values, right? Isn't Melania always talking about bullying and things of that nature, yet she had nothing to say about any of this? That is really something. I think Keith Boykin said that Hexet didn't have anything to say about this either, which is interesting because if you would think anybody would respect women and wives, it would be Pete Hegseth. You would think he would certainly respect women of that nature. But, the fact that they said nothing is just going to force me to have to point out the fact that they didn't have to wonder which wife Michelle Obama was. They didn't have to wonder, was that the one that he cheated? Or no, was that when he went drinking? And none of those questions were asked. You know exactly which wife Michelle Obama is. Good old MAGA family values, huh? That's right. And y'all can't stand it.
So it was everything you hoped for?
It was pretty great, yeah. A lot of excitement. Yeah, it was a good time, man. I like the fights anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple quick knockouts. The last fight was pretty good. So, yeah, good stuff.
I got to ask, what do you think of Josh Hokit saying Michelle Obama is a man?
I think it was probably the most unexpected and unintentionally hilarious moment of the night. The whole place kind of erupted. So I think you see online that kind of blew up.
It was kind of weird though because it's celebrating America event and then she's part of American history.
Listen, you got to smile a little bit. It's funny. Just joke around. He's Hokit. It's Hokit. You're not here reading the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, Dan Bongino. That's sad. That is really. Now, I already had aired you out last week. I don't even know why you crawled from underneath that rock that your podcast been hiding under. Wasn't this you crying over your family situation? Wasn't this you right here?
But I stare at these four walls all day in D.C., by myself, divorced from my wife. Not divorced, but separated, divorced. And it's hard. We love each other, and it's hard to be apart.
But now it's funny. But now it's funny. See, Maga, if we would have told y'all that you literally don't care about another human being or anything until it happens to you, you would be mad. And this is how you move it in 4K. The jokes write themselves. They absolutely write themselves. The pearl clutching over a joke made by a UFC heavyweight known for his post-fight stand-up comedy acts is next level hypocrisy. The same people moaning and clawing at their faces over it have absolutely no problem calling President Trump and his supporters Yahtzees and fascists, so I'll pass on the faux outrage. But you said joking. You said jokes and stand-up comedy. Yeah, those don't come from comedians and jokesters. No, those come from legitimate political commentators, everyday people, and just about anybody with an operable brain. So try again. Try again with that one, Dan Bongino. And also, hopefully you're able to piece the family back together, although I see how much respect you have for other people's families. Good old Republican family values. I'll tell you that. And here's another question, Maga. Why is Michelle Obama being a man such a dig for y'all? Because y'all have excused President Trump slobbering over men for the last year and change. We done seen him slobbering over men at the UFC event. Huh? So that was where you decided to go? Okay.
Check him out. Whoa. We're not going to fight with him. I'm not fighting him. I'm not. This is not UFC. Please understand that, Thomas. Look at this guy. Look at the muscles in this guy.
Just so we're all clear, the reason these men make jokes about black women, specifically dark-skinned black women, being men is because they want to encourage violence against black women. Because see, when you attribute masculine qualities to a black woman, then other men feel like it's okay for them to attack and be violent, whether online or physically, towards black women. And that's always been the case. That is why they've always made these jokes about Michelle Obama, because they can't stand how beautiful she is and the fact that she's able to accomplish so much so gracefully. And the platform that he used to say this is not coincidental. It's not a coincidence that he said it on a platform after winning a sport that is very violent. And the last thing I'll say is that this is strategic. They know that Michelle Obama could potentially run for president and win 2 terms. And they don't want that. So they're starting early with the smear campaign. Even though she said she doesn't plan to run for president, they don't even want to take the chance because they already know that a woman who is qualified or as qualified as her running for president would run circles around them. And being a mediocre white man would no longer be okay.
And those are 2 fantastic points. We have already outlined just how much Michelle Obama's presence bothers them, but the knowledge that she could win should she run for president and would have won had she run in 20 or 24. That's gotta, you know what I mean? That's gotta dig at you, Trump. That's gotta, Maga, that's gotta hurt. I know. They crack jokes about George Floyd and laugh in our faces, and we do nothing. They shoot our children in the back and then sentence them as adults for defending themselves, and we do nothing. They call Michelle Obama, the first black first lady of the United States, a man and a monkey, and we do nothing. They strip voting rights in the same southern states where we send our best black athletes to play college sports and make them billions, and we do nothing. They openly talk about bringing slavery back, and we do nothing. We are desensitized to our own disrespect. That from Isaac Hayes III. Now, some good points were made, and I understand the general point that he was making, but I would add an addendum that I wouldn't say that we did nothing with a great number of those. There's been conversations about boycotts, both when it comes to SEC and specifically when it comes to the Cyrus Carmack Belton case in South Carolina. And there's been significant mobilization with results to voting rights. But the way that he ended that about we are desensitized to our own disrespect, that's one that gave me significant pause. And that coupled with needing to just showcase exactly what place Michelle Obama did not go back to are the reasons why I had to say something, because I had to wonder, am I desensitized to my own disrespect? It's a real possibility. That is something that happens when they flood the zone, but it's certainly not something that we can allow.
He's right, you know.
But then again, there are those that seem openly desensitized to our own disrespect. Oh, but we're going to get into all that on the next part. Oh, yeah, I got some more food on my plate. Oh, Donnie, one more thing. Since we're talking about wives, right? Trump humiliated as Melania leaves him hanging on his birthday. Interesting. You think Michelle left Barack hanging on his birthday? Huh? You think that? Yeah. Now I see why you hang around the cage with the sweaty men. That makes all the sense. Yes, they wouldn't leave you hanging. Oh no. They giving you jewelry and everything.
Look at that guy, how handsome he is. I'll kiss him.
I don't like young, handsome men.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I wanted to take this moment to wish you a happy Juneteenth, because the vibe out there is pretty heavy. You remember we went from a couple years ago where every corporation and politician was tripping over themselves to say Black Lives Matter, hand out DEI budget, to now a full-on whiplash. Now we're living in a political climate where diversity is treated like a curse word. You got states passing laws to ban Black history books, rolling back voting rights, and dismantling the most basic diversity programs like it's a crime to hire Black and brown people. Oh, they are taking people. They literally are taking people to court for hiring Black and brown people. It's a climate that's anti-Black, and it's definitely anti-progress. It's loud, it's aggressive, and it's designed to make you feel defeated. It's designed to make you look at a holiday like Juneteenth and think, what are we even celebrating? But see, that's exactly why this Juneteenth just hits a little bit different. Because if you actually know the history of the day, this pushback isn't new. This is just the remix. Juneteenth didn't start in a time of peace and racial harmony. It started in 1865 in Texas, surrounded by hostility, surrounded by people who were furious that freedom was finally being enforced. When those ancestors found out they were free, they didn't wait for permission to celebrate. They knew the climate was dangerous. They knew the people around them were mad, but they gathered anyway, and they bought their own land, created emancipation parks, put on their finest clothes, and claimed their joy in the face of absolute resistance. So when people today tell us to tone it down or try and legislate our history out of existence, they're playing a losing game. Because you can't ban a spirit that survived the Middle Passage, survived the plantation, and survived a 2-year delay on its own emancipation. Joy for us has never been a luxury. Joy is a form of resistance. So this year, celebrating Juneteenth isn't just about having a day off or eating good food. It's a statement. When you fire up that grill, when you blast that music, when you hug your family, you're telling the world, we still here. You can try and defund the programs and rewrite the textbooks, but you cannot delete the culture. So look out for each other. Keep your head high and claim your joy this week. They didn't give it to us, and they damn sure can't take it away. Free-ish since 1865.